100%. I think that's really the way to do it, is to use these social media sites to drive people to other places. You want to drive them to a website, you want to drive them to an article, you want to drive them somewhere that's going to lead to you getting business and them paying you money. You got to figure that piece out. These postings are great, but how do you make money off of it? That's the key thing.
Could you explain why websites may become obsolete? How is that going to happen?
I think that what you're going to see, and you're already seeing it with things like Google Reader and Google Alerts, is you have there are places out there to post things like Facebook and Twitter are perfect examples, but there are content sites like eZine is an online magazine where you can post articles and you can post things about you can post articles, videos, there's YouTube, there's all these things. And there are services like Google Reader and Google Alerts that will do what's called a mashup, where they will go look for you all over the internet and take all your stuff and put it together. And I think that more and more you're going to see companies trying to come up with ways to do that and to advertise that way and optimize information about you, where they will dynamically build content on the fly and almost build a website for every search that's done, where they'll bring in things from all over the internet. You see Google doing it now a little bit with some of the changes in their search algorithms. Their search algorithms are now based on your history of what you've searched for before. And so it's impossible for you to continually change your site so that it matches those social preferences of people. So what you have is this dynamic content building on the site. There are services right now that will build articles for you. So let's say I want to do an article on consumer bankruptcy on my website. This service will go out and look at all the searches that are done on Bing, look at all the searches done on Google, look at all the searches on Yahoo, and it will write an article based on the words in those searches. And it'll draw content from the internet. Now, sometimes they don't come out to be very legible or correct, and you would never want to put your name on them, but you could bury them somewhere in your website, and it's a magnet for search engines.
It's like a robo-plagiarist site.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what it is. So, I think that that is something that's coming, and it might signal doing away with the need for a static website. So that's I don't know what you guys think or what you've run into.
I've got an app on my iPad. It's a news app called Pulse, and it aggregates all these different news websites and puts it on one site for me, and I can go there and get a lot of it. It's a little bit too much for me. I just go to my Star Tribune app and get what I need, but that's how it is. But when Dan said that the other day, I'm thinking that Apple will have something soon with their voice recognition software, the Siri, that you speak criminal defense attorney Minnesota, and it's going to give you kind of a mashup of what you're looking for, and give you some different things. So I really think that we're going to be seeing completely different ways of all this going to be happening here soon. It's we've got to try to stay ahead of the curve in market with that, seeing what's going on. And so social media is where it's at right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you're seeing that definitely suck away from static websites. I think you're seeing people search for entries on Facebook and search for entries on Google Plus of what people have said, as opposed to what's their website, what they've said, to try to get an idea of, is this the right person for you or not? Is this the right attorney for you or not? These things move, but the website's not going away tomorrow. But I think long term, as you think about these things, you've got to kind of stay aware of what the market is doing and how the changes are moving. I mean, you've got people who are searching videos now with face recognition software for people, as opposed to looking for their name, they're looking for their face on a video. So I think if you don't have video on your website right now, you're kidding yourself about your ability to rank high in a search engine.
It conforms with the trend towards a post-literate society. So.
Exactly. People, Adobe, I remember reading a quote from Adobe, which is the company that does the software, stating that they believe in 15 years you won't see any text on websites. I mean, pictures and videos, it won't be text. And so that's a big change in the way people will search. So I think you just got to be aware of that as you do this stuff.
Well, Dan, you want to talk a little bit about the metrics? I assume what you're opening up on the computer right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna, I don't have it exactly in the order I would have preferred to talk about, but search engine optimization is really what this is all about. I mean, what you want to do is you want to have people find you by using the internet, and these people are people that otherwise would not find you. I mean, if somebody's going to look in the phone book, who cares what your internet SEO is, okay? If somebody is going to ask their brother, who's a good lawyer, doesn't matter how great a website you have, okay? You want people to find you who otherwise wouldn't find you. I think that this is a slide that talks about the shift in marketing in general. In the past, the focus was on the business pushing information out to the consumer in a way based on slicing up these demographics. Who's a housewife with 3 kids who lives in such and such a zip code? Okay, I'm going to send a mailer to those people, or I'm going to get a list of all the doctors in the Twin Cities and send a letter to them. It's different now. The internet has made this different because now it's the consumer deciding what to look for, and you have to be ready to catch whatever they're looking for with respect to the keywords. I mean, the keyword is really what we're talking about here, and this is this idea of, you know, am I looking for bankruptcy? Am I looking for mergers and acquisitions? Am I looking for real estate? It's picking those short words and figuring out how to get to those people. You know, it was in the past, I don't know how many have seen the show Mad Men with Don Draper and advertising in the late 50s and 60s. This idea of doing the market research and the demographics and then just pushing this money into TV ads and radio ads and publications, but never really knowing whether that was effective spending of your money. Because you had these people who would show up to buy legal services, and God only knows whether they looked in the phone book or whether they found it from a friend or what. And I think that the new one, as I said, is coming up with some type of measurable results. I mean, down to the point, I mean, it's fairly easy right now to find out the name, address, and phone number of every single person who clicks on your website. You can backtrack those people no matter what anybody says and find out exactly who they are. And then based on that information, you can get some idea of how to do this targeting. My brother works for a company in Madison, Wisconsin called Third Wave Research, and they generate 240 individual demographic factors about each person, tied to their social security number. They can come up with the last 8 quarters of income for that person. They can list all of their medical problems. They can tell you who they work for. They can tell you things about their spending habits based on data from Visa. And it's amazing how they can kind of track those people down. And so it's very simple for them to find out who clicks on what website.
Well, Dan, I'll give you another 60 seconds or so, but I want to make sure we get to some other
Right.
stuff too. So,
Search engine optimization is a process. It's not a project. You don't just do it and be done. You have to keep doing it all the time. And that's really what I wanted to show with this slide. This is a metric that I wanted to show everybody because I think it's important. There are 2 types of advertising you could do with Google. One is called pay-per-click. These are the ones that show up along the right-hand side and at the top, and they're usually shaded. And Google charges you money every time somebody clicks on that ad. So if you really want to stick it to your competition, go find their ad and click on it like 100 times. And then there are also called organic search results, and these are the ones in the middle. And these are the ones that you don't pay for, but the internet goes out and finds you. your organic search results result in 85% of your conversions to clients as opposed to your paid search results. Because people who click on paid search results are usually just fishing. So I think this is an important statistic. Here's another important statistic. The number one listing on Google gets 42% of the clicks. The number one. So it's important to be number one.
These are organic, right?
These are organic. And this was data that was generated by AOL. It's usually not given out. But you can see that to be in the top 3, you capture the majority of the market. And so it's important to be there. If you are not using Google Analytics, you better sign up for it. Because this tells you all kinds of things, like what search engines are feeding to your site, who's coming to your site, how many people are unique and new, how many are old. It even gives you demographics about where they come from, and it's free. So go sign up. Search engine optimization, I wanted to show this. It takes a lot of work at the beginning, but once you get it up and running, it doesn't take much work, like 15 minutes a day, but your results just keep expanding as long as you keep updating it. So it sucks in the beginning, but once you get it going, it works good.
Dan, I want to get into some other stuff, so maybe we can jump back in. Is there anything you want to wrap up?
No, I just wanted to say, here's some great sites that talk about how to measure your SEO results, and these are all in the handouts. And here's some great articles about how to do search engine optimization. Again, this is all in the handout, and they're all free. This one, we don't really need to worry about that one. That was a different topic. So, sorry. Okay, Lenny,
No,
move on.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about Google Plus, because that's been mentioned
I'm
2 or 3 times now.
Done.
And Google Plus, I confess, I know nothing about it, and I know it's out there now. Ellen, why don't you jump in on that one a little bit?
Well, as I said a few minutes ago, I'm not real active on Google Plus, but I did sign up pretty early, and I guess Google Plus is somewhat like Facebook. It's pretty similar. I think the main difference is that it puts privacy kind of front and center, in that it lets you control your audience for each of your entries, your postings or whatever. I don't know. I have both a personal and a business page set up on my Google Plus, but like I said, I guess I haven't really been too active on it yet, since so far it feels kind of redundant with Facebook and Twitter.
Are you guys using Google Plus at all, John? Or?
I am not. My wife is, and she kind of echoes the same thing Ellen says. I'm not quite sure how it's going to work.
What about some of these video social media sites? I know they're...
Well, Google Plus is, I was just about to say,
video.
that's a good example of one. There is a really slick service called Google Hangout on there. And it's like Skype. If any of you have ever used Skype for conferencing, Google Hangout is 10 times better, easier, and free. You could put like 10 people on there at once. And I had a meeting this morning on Google Hangouts, and it allows you to see everybody. It allows you to post documents, take notes, post whatever you want on there. And it is a social media site, but the issue I see with any of these video social media sites is you have to be engaged. I mean, you have to want to be on there to talk to people. But I've seen people do things like a free, consult on Google Plus. I've seen people do things where they have a drop-in for legal questions on Google Plus. You just sit there and wait and see who logs in. You could get a nut, you could get $1 million client. You never know.
That's called lurking.
Yeah. So, it is an interesting thing. I think that YouTube presents some very good opportunities for social media, in that you could set up a channel where you can put videos that people can go see. And so you don't have to be on there all the time. And so I have a YouTube channel, and I have some of my own stuff on there. I'm going to put this up here when we're done. And I have some other stuff. There's some great videos from the Fair Trade Commission on bankruptcy that I put up there. So, it's just another way to drive, and you give them the teaser and you say, here's a suggestion, but if you want to know more, go to my website, or better yet, call me and set up an appointment.
Dan, how much